Hello, friends, and welcome back to my channel. Or welcome if you're new here. My name is Brandy. I am the owner of Boundless Treasures Boutique, and today we are going to make this beautiful twinkle light vinyl glitter hand painted clouds, stars, all the things tumbler. And oh man, I'm going to teach you so much and walk you through a lot of the roadblocks that I encountered while making this cup. But I love how it turned out. So any comments, questions you have, leave them for me in the comments. But with that, let's jump in. I hope you like and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So to start, we need an extender. I am using a 2 7/8 inch mold from twochicks.com. I found these extender molds online, and they do just the trick for our twinkle lights. But we're going to mix up 10 mLs of epoxy. I would not recommend a fast set. Use a regular cure and allow that to sit and cure for at least 24 hours. Then we are going to pour that into our molds, set it aside for 24 hours, and then come back to move on to our next step. Here you'll see I'm just using a baby cloth or baby wipe to wipe up any excess that may have gotten on the edges, just to prevent any pokey butts. Now, once our extender has dried, we're going to demold that. We're going to make sure that we put that little nook facing down so that the flat edge of the cup is on the bottom. And then we're going to use some E6000 to adhere this. This is okay to use because it is a double walled tumbler, so there's no risk of the glue. You can also use UV resin or epoxy. I prefer E6000 just because it dries quicker. I let that set up for another 24 hours and we were good to start adding our twinkle lights. Now, I did put Velcro on the bottom and I'm putting it on the bottom of our twinkle light battery pack. And then we are just going to thread our lights through that extender's hole. And we are ready to get started with adhering our lights. Now, I am using Counterculture's DIY UV resin, and I will tell you, learning from my 4th of July Twinkle Light Cup, which was the very first one I did learn you really need to adhere every single bit of those twinkle lights. This is going to help with resin getting under and lifting. You're not going to be able to minimize all of it's not ever going to be a perfectly smooth cup. You will have areas where your twinkle lights are that have some slight, I like to think of it as like grips for your hand. But that will be the case always. And then I'm using my Chemi Page Boutique Ultimate Tumbler tool to just make a line at the halfway point. This is where I'm going to start my twinkle lights and where my vinyl is going to meet my glitter. Once you've got that all done, again, just keep wrapping those twinkle lights. And you'll see here, I'm going a little bit, I'm UVing, I'm going a little bit, I'm using my UV, and we're just going to repeat this process over and over until all of the twinkle lights are put on. And now that all of our twinkle lights are where we are, I'm turning on those lights, and we have gone in, and you'll have to excuse me, I forgot to film the first part. I went in and I epoxied with 60 mLs for the first coat and 40 mLs for the second coat. And then I made the biggest mistake I could have possibly made. I went in, and you're seeing me use a block sander here. This was after I stripped my very first cup and had to start all over again. I used my hand sander and I severed my wires. So folks, do not use a hand sander. Use a block. Sand as good as you can. A hand sander is not going to minimize the bumps from the twinkle lights. A block is not going to minimize it. That is something that you can minimize through your coats of epoxy. But the first one I did 2 coats, and this cup here that you're seeing now, I did 3. I did 60 mLs on the first coat, 40 mLs on the second, and then 40 mLs on the third. And then I went in and I lightly sanded, and I did my rim. Once that was done, I went in with Color Flex paints, and that has paint, glue, all that good fun stuff. And then I was able to start my glittering. Now, the glitter I used is all from PDB. You guys, I am officially an affiliate. I am beyond excited to be an affiliate for PDB. I love their glitter. I always have. They're one of my favorites. But I've put my affiliate link below. That way you guys can save some money. And also, anything that I get from that, I put right back into this channel to help create content for you guys. So we use the glitter Purplexed and Berry Delight, which are both available on PDB Creative Studios website. And then I used the Christmas Night pattern from Maestris Creations for our vinyl. Now, here is where the next bump and roadblock I had was. It is very challenging with a tumbler that is not 100% smooth to lay that vinyl down without any bubbles, crinkling, anything like that. So I was able to get it down. I went in, I popped bubbles with my craft knife. That was just fine. All of those disappeared. I did with the wrinkles, I did my cutting, which again is just fine. None of that shows until I turn on the twinkle lights. And you guys will see here in a minute, you can see all of those slits. And so that is where the first big bit of trouble with the vinyl happened. But I pressed on because I'd already stripped 1 cup. This was the second cup I was working on for this. And I knew there had to be a way to fix this. So I used also my Cami Page cup edging tool to edge the top rim. That way it was nice and neat. And then I also used some masking tape just so that we had a good straight line for the bottom to start our waterfall effect for our glitter. But y'all, holy moly, this cup, oh, it turned out beautiful in the end. I was so happy with everything that I encountered, the way that it turned out. It was definitely a process. So if you're doing something like this, just know it's going to be a process, but there are ways to work around it. I'm going to share with you how I worked around it. So we're going to go in. We've got our Crystal Lac glitter glue. We're going to add that over our base, and then a little over the edge and all the way up. This will allow us to do our waterfall effect. I'm going in with Purplexed again and Berry Delight again. Again, these are beautiful purples. One of my faves from PDB Creative Studio. So we went in, we got that. And I was like, okay, this is going to be all right. This is going to be okay. Flattened down my glitters, got ready and said, okay, let's put epoxy on this. We went in with we're now at our fourth coat, which was 40 mLs of epoxy. And I went in also with Empress from PDB in hopes to cover up the seam, those lines that were shining through, anything like that. So you're going to see me do that here in a minute, and you'll be able to see like the glitter is beautiful. It just adds something a little bit extra. I still would have done this, but I would have done the vinyl probably very, very differently. And then I popped all of it, all the micro bubbles, all of it. Oh my gosh, look, even talking about this cup is getting me all frazzled. I popped my micro bubbles with my cup. So here I'm showing you, I can still see the seam. I can still see all of these things. I originally thought I'll just go in and I'll fix it with my paint markers. And then I got this brilliant idea to add vinyl because I had extra vinyl. So I'm turning on the lights. You can see the little slits. You can see all of that. It's even more apparent in the dark. But I used the leftover vinyl that I had. I also had an extra sheet to try and fix those slits because I just didn't feel comfortable sending that out to somebody. This also created another bump in the road, which you guys are going to see. So again, if I could do this all over, what I would probably do is I would have gone in, I would have done my glitter coat. I would have done my fourth coat of epoxy, which would have brought me to a better point and not as bumpy as where it was at the third point. And maybe that would have helped the vinyl lay down a little bit differently. And then I could have just added my Empress and called it a day. But because I didn't do that, I've got all these slits. They're showing through when the lights come on. I'm doing what I can to fix it. This also presented another problem because I thought, well, the epoxy will hide these cutouts. It did not. And then when you light it up, you can see where I cut it out. So it drove me absolutely insanely bonkers, which is when I got the idea to do the hand painted clouds. But we'll get to that here in just a moment while I finish adding all these bits and pieces in hopes to fix the slits that I cut. Now, once I was done with that, I cleaned up my rim because I didn't want the epoxy to continue gathering up at the sides. And we also wanted to make sure that we were good. Here is where I hand sanded. So this is the part that I would have waited to apply the vinyl. I would have applied this coat, I would have done the glitter, and then I would have applied my vinyl after this. But that's not what happened. So we went with plan C because again, I could see all those vinyl cutouts still through the epoxy. And while it probably would have been fine, I didn't want to send that out. So here you'll see I toyed with different paint colors. I even brought out some stars that I thought about applying, which I didn't end up using, thank goodness. And I just went in and I started painting some clouds. I did add some water just to make those a little less thick, and then just started drawing just like the shape of W's all over in different colors, and then a makeup brush to blend those out. And then I went in with a purple and did the same with the purple with the W's, used a makeup brush, blended it out. And then I went in with the lighter colors and did the same thing until I was happy with the base that I had. And then I started to go in with my white, and my white I did W's, and then you'll see that I did M's. And this just added the definition to the clouds. So while all of this was an effort to correct things, it worked out. I loved the way it just added something different. And it just, I really, really loved how these clouds just helped bring this all together with the stars and the vinyl and the glitter. I was not mad by the time I finished these clouds. From there, I went in with 2 final coats of epoxy. I did add the additive Bulletproof from AB Designs into the first of the 2 coats to add some sparkle to those clouds. But friends, here is how it ended. I am so in love with how this turned out. Even through all of the roadblocks, I learned so much, and I get to share all of that with you. But I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I would love to know what you guys think. If you guys have tips and tricks for Twinkle light tumblers, drop them in the comments. Let your girl know. But that's all I have for you guys this week. I, again, appreciate you being here. I appreciate you letting me share. And you guys, I just appreciate every single one of you guys so, so very much. I hope you all have a fabulous week. I'd love to see you on social if you guys decide to create this. Don't forget to tag me. And don't forget to take a peek at my free Facebook group. Until next week, bye now.